What is up, YouTube? I am back with another edition of Against the Ropes. And we're going to be covering the latest edition of Monday Night Raw. Let's go! Dun, 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 dun. So it kicks off with Adam Pearce opening the show, welcoming everyone to Monday Night Raw, and announcing that we're going to have the weigh-in. Introduces both men. Big bad Bobby Lashley comes out first. And then Brock Lesnar comes out. But the way he comes out in a cowboy hat, looking absolutely ridiculous. Before Corey Graves was going to introduce Brock. Paul cuts him off. Paul has a good line. He said, and he's tired of everyone stealing his shtick, especially when they can't do it half as good as him. Does his normal intro for Lesnar. If you know, you know. Like I said, he comes out in a cowboy hat with a big grin on his face, nods his cap. Basically, it was absolutely hilarious. Graves pretty much tells him, like, yeah, you're not really dressed appropriately. And what does he come back with and tell Graves? He says this line, and I quote, "Do you want him to get naked?" Like, what? I love you, Brock Lesnar. In my last video, I covered why 2021 Brock is the best. So we get to the weigh-in. Lashley is 273 pounds. I thought he was 266, but still. MVP says 273 pounds of almighty machine, closer to a god than a man. Then he just hypes Lashley up. Lesnar's is 286. Lesnar is asked by Graves to remove layers, but all he does, he just takes his hat off, just gives it to Heyman, and just does it. Lashley's getting pissed. Lesnar's just laughing about it. Lashley eventually calls Lesnar. He says he's like acting like a fool and knows Lashley will win the WWE title. And then Lashley says it will be Lesnar's shortest title reign of his career, and that's not a prediction, that's a spoiler. If you know, you know. Lesnar asks, "Who's the comedian now?" Taunts him a bit and then just leaves. It was pretty entertaining. This is why Brock is amazing. And I think he's going to win. He's going to retain his title and Roman is losing. And who knows? He might have a rematch with Big Bad Bob. Who knows? But if we're doing babyface Bobby Lashley, babyface Brock, then we get to we'll do a recap for Bianca's 2021 Royal Rumble because the Rumble is Saturday. She goes one-on-one with Zelina Vega. She at first puts her on the apron to show off her strength and then just taunts her with the slap her butt thing. She's dominating the match until Vega starts working her in the corner and hits a running knee to the face, which probably fucking hurts. Excuse my language. Bows to the crowd, does her normal taunt. Gets booed for it. She's in control until Belair starts slamming her to get control. Kip-ups. She does some kip-ups, multiple suplexes, then misses a really nice moonsault on Vega as Vega got her knees up. Vega tries for her finishing code red, but it's countered into a KOD 1-2-3. Bianca Belair wins. She's celebrating, and Vega is just recouping because, oh my god, I'm hurt. We do a little recap of last week's KO versus Priest because we're going to get a title match, and yeah, WWE. First off, we get Kevin Owens backstage with Kevin Patrick. Owens is basically asked about his faking an injury. He's insulted by it, saying he would never fake an injury. And he's going to fight through the pain to become the U.S. champion. Which is, okay. So they both make their entrances. Starts off with KO trying for the stunner right away, but Priest blocks it. Taking him to the corner. KO does his strikes and chops till Priest comes back with lefts and rights of his own. KO goes for the leg, starts working his leg, but Priest just punches him in the face and gets out of the corner. KO will gain control of the match until having Cannonball in the corner countered into a chokeslam. attempt, then escapes that to get knocked down, which I'm sorry, KO, all that effort starting from a missed cannonball just to get jaw dropped. Yeah. But beforehand, Priest was actually running towards him and KO knocked him out. Yeah. So it's on the floor. Priest eventually has control of the match until Owens just hits a super kick on him that just sends him to the floor. Because, everyone likes sending each other on the floor. Because somehow this match ended up back in the ring. Immediately, but okay. Owens tries for another cannonball, misses that, gets dropped. Priest has control until KO headbutts him, hits big tornado DDT, a very big one, and hits a frog splash, but it's a 2 count. KO is shocked, like, oh my god, what the hell, blah, blah, blah. Priest backs up, blocks a powerbomb, the pop-up powerbomb, hits a big boot, but KO kicks out in time. Priest is starting to get frustrated, starting that Damien, that evil side is coming out. KO is trying to do the injury thing, and Priest is like, nah, brah, not working. He attacks KO, but eventually KO gets the edge. Then hits him with a stunner. Priest snaps and ultimately is DQ'd. No, I'm sorry. He blocked the stunner. KO got the edge. He tries for the stunner and it's blocked. Priest snaps and ultimately gets disqualified for beating him up too much, but come on. And he's booed for it, which... Do I think it's a heel turn coming down the road? Yeah. Right now, not really. I like Priest. I want to see where this is going, and he's been a really good U.S. champ. And if KO gets the title down the road, no one's going to mind that. And then we get skits in the back from all 6 competitors in the next match talking about they're going to win the Royal Rumble. Oh, my God, yes. That is Rhea Ripley, Dana Brooke, Liv Morgan versus Carmella, Tamina, and Nikki Ash. Ripley comes out to a huge pop. Dana Brooke is the 24/7 champ, but I don't ever like talking about that because it's nothing. What's his name? One of the announcers informs us that the rules are suspended. We cut to DeVille yelling at Priest to get his emotions in check or face consequences. Woo. And then the heel ladies do the same thing. Brooke and Tamina start the match. Tamina's dominating her, and then Brooke eventually gets out of Tamina's ground game. Makes a tag to Ripley. Ripley does a drop kick, knocks the others off the ring. Tamina and Ripley go at it again. Ripley's just running wild, hitting spin kicks, Northern Light suplex. Carmella breaks that pinfall up, and Liv Morgan and others get involved. Carmella tags in, taunts Ripley, dumb move, until ending up in Rhea Ripley's submission moves, the Prism Trap, and she taps out. Then Nikki Ash punches her Ripley in the face. They stare off. Ripley's going to rip her throat out. I hope this match doesn't happen at Mania. Do it beforehand. Ripley deserves more. Yeah, I have already covered Nikki ASH. That character needs to die. And we need to bring back a better version of Nikki. Recap of last week's RK Bro Alpha Academy segment. Then it's time for the academic challenge, which is the spelling bee. Kevin Patrick's hosting, introduces the Alpha Academy. Gable insults the crowd and they boo and they tell him he sucks and boos him. And then the Alpha Academy announces they're in the Rumble. Kevin Patrick introduces RK Bro. Says the winner of this spelling bee will pick the stipulation for next week. Otis is asked to spell Amencial. He does, but he actually misses the A. Riddle spells collaboration. He gets it. Gable does not spell dissolution right. After passing KP's pronunciation, because apparently his character is a bit of an intelligent dumbass. Orton eventually tells Gable to sit down, spells his word dumbbell correctly, which means they won the spelling bee. Gable and Orton have words, and Orton threatens to hit the RKO, which leads into a match. Which I will tell you now, it was a pretty good match. Even though I've seen it many, many times, it's a pretty good match. Lock up, back and forth to start till Gable counters Orton's offense into 2 arm drags. Orton blocks another arm drag, but Gable blocks an RKO and retreats outside to regroup with Otis. Gable gets back in the ring, then Orton starts working over his arm. Gains control and sends Gable ends up getting control and sends Orton out of the ring while taunting him. Orton returns to the ring, but Gable is still in control. Orton eventually gains some control with the uppercut and a back elbow that sends Gable to the floor. Orton follows and is slammed on the announce table. Then gets him back in the ring, knocks Otis off the ring. Gable gains advantage with a chop block, and it hits top rope moonsault on him for a 2 count, and Gable's, oh my God, I'm gonna put this guy away. Gable has control until Orton clotheslines him. Orton does his signature backbreaker, his DDT, all those moves. Gable eventually counters a move until Orton hits the backbreaker in the middle of the ring. Orton hits the DDT and is poised to hit the RKO. Riddle prevents Otis from interfering until Riddle gets laid on the floor, which ultimately Gable eventually got a roll up. He only got a 2 count, which ended up leading into an Orton power slam, but he couldn't make the pin attempt. Oh no! He attempts a punt, but Gable dodges it and applies the ankle lock. Along the way, at the same time, Riddle's beating up Otis with his scooter, distracts Gable. Orton hits the RKO, 1, 2, 3. RK Bro are celebrating, and they say next week's challenge will take them back to gym for an old-fashioned scooter race. Do I want to know? I love RK Bro. It's a comedic gimmick, but I know we're all waiting for RK Bro to eventually split up and have Riddle versus Orton at Mania. A lot of people saying Riddle should be the heel. I actually agree. Recap of Bliss's therapy last week. You already know my opinion on that. So we have it. The therapist says he's impressed. What did he say? Bliss has improved. Asks when Bliss met Lily. Bliss goes on saying she's been around since she was 6 and was bullied by 2 teenage girls, was pushed off monkey bars and hit her head, was unconscious when coming back to see Lily, and rambles on, just continues to ramble on for a couple minutes about Lily, and that segment thankfully ends. Not my cup of tea, but I hope they do something with Alexa Bliss. I see her coming on back at the Rumble. Yeah. Recap of Theory last week because he beat Finn Balor, then beat him up. Then there was a segment with Theory and McMahon, which I love these segments. Vince asks Theory how he's feeling on what happened as of late, and also for some reason about his selfies. Theory says it feels good to destroy Balor, like Vince asks. Says he's gonna win the Rumble. He kind of hints at Vince, like, you gonna give me a low number? And Vince is like, well, why would I have any influence on that? I don't have any influence on that. Why would I do that? Theory, you should be more concerned about your opponent tonight, AJ Styles. Theory asks if this is the same AJ Styles with multiple titles and a future first-class Hall of Famer. Vince agrees and says, yep, that's AJ. Theory's ready. Vince tells Theory he forgot his phone and he better bring him a good selfie. Austin Theory versus AJ Styles was next. It was a very, very good match. Veer Mahan is still missing and still showing up to Raw. He still can't find his way. Give him a map. His buddy's already on NXT. Veer is probably going to be on Raw when I'm dead. Come on. This is a joke. Then Theory takes selfies before the match because that's his gimmick. Locks up with AJ, takes him to the corner. Theory taunts him. Then the lock up back and forth until Theory rolls AJ up for a 2 count. AJ drop kicks him out of the ring. AJ launches himself over the top rope with his crossbody, and it looked absolutely amazing on Theory. Brings it back to the ring and works him into the corner. AJ catches his kick. Theory throws a kick till Theory gains control. Like AJ was throwing some kicks at him, and eventually Theory gains control, hits a fucking amazing brainbuster. I'm sorry again. For a 2 count, and some reason trying to cheat, which WWE. AJ eventually gains control, drops Theory with the knee to forehead for a 2 count. And it was a pretty brutal knee, I'm going to tell you now. Theory gains control until AJ hits the forearm, and AJ is suplexed and launched into the mat. And launches him to the mat. Theory then eventually gets back to the top rope with AJ, hits a superplex, then hits a drop kick to keep control, which, yeah, Theory, you're going places, buddy. Theory has control until missing an elbow drop. AJ lands a moonsault into an inverted DDT from corner. AJ with a suplex to a neckbreaker combo, but Theory kicks out at 2. Theory has offense. He stalls. Eventually gets frustrated. Then AJ hits a jawbreaker with Theory countering it into another with this standing blockbuster, which was absolutely incredible. Theory has control until suplex is countered into him, knocked down to the turnbuckles, like he hit his head off the turnbuckle. Theory hits an elbow and is dropped with a Pele kick. Both counter each other's signature moves until AJ locks him with a calf crusher. Theory gets it to get to the ropes in time. Theory blocks kick to punch him in the face, covers him with the feet on the ropes. The ref's like, nah, bro, I caught you. And Theory's starting to get frustrated, which distracts him so much. AJ, phenomenal forearm. 1, 2, 3. AJ's our winner. AJ's celebrating. Theory is frustrated. Then we had a Doudrop and Becky Lynch interview, which basically they were talking about the Rumble. Becky was being a cocky heel. Doudrop saying, I'm going to squash you. Doudrop finds Becky and they brawl. Nothing there. Street Profits Mysterio recap last week. Mysterio's have an interview. Ray's proud to be on the cover of WWE 2K22 and would be proud if his son is on one day. Talks about the Rumble and jokes with his son that they're going to eliminate each other. Street Profits Mysterios. Back and forth action. Both teams show off high flying moves. Mysterio's try big 619, cut off, then Ray hits 619 on forward, which is countered. Ray gets the win with the most devastating move in all of sports entertainment. And after the match, Dom tries throwing Ray over. Ray throws him over. Street Profits throw Ray out. Then the Dirty Dogs come out and throw the Profits out. The Mysterios get back in. Them and the Street Profits are beating up the Dirty Dogs, throw them out. And to end that, Ray and the Street Profits are having a stare down. And they kind of stare at all of each other. Good stuff. I can't wait for the Rumble. Seth Rollins interview in the back. He likes his chances to win the Universal title because he's beaten Roman Reigns before, has his number, and is the only one to put him in his place. Can't wait. He'll be on SmackDown to confront Roman Reigns. And then we get the Royal Rumble card, which is stacked. And I cannot wait for the Rumble because it's going to be one heck of a show. Now, main event time. The skit with the Miz's birthday segment, which, not my thing, but she turns 39. There's a table with presents, cakes, several photos, a large gift that can hide 1 to 2 people in it, and one with a covered photo. Miz is still in the ring after the break. Their mixed tag at the Rumble is promoted. Miz and Maurice versus Edge and Beth. Hypes Maurice up. And that the It couple will beat the Grit couple this Saturday. Which after the Rumble, this needs to end. Maurice comes to the ring. Security is all around. And reveals covered photo, which is a painting of them. Maurice talks about how Miz makes her feel special and how Miz paid top dollar to have these security guards protect her birthday thing so nothing gets ruined. But Come on, it's WWE. You know what's up. Maurice opens gift and it's purse covered in stones saying no limits because there's no limits on their love. Corny. She wants the huge gold gift. Miz didn't get her that. He thought she got it for him. Brick is on table beside the gift. It couple laughs and show a recap of how Maurice knocked Beth out with the brick. Starts to sing happy birthday. Tells the crowd to shut up because he's interrupted and keep quiet. Tries again. Does the worst singing possible. Edge comes out. Beth comes out. They're both pissed off. They pretty much say, Miz, your security's not going to help you this Saturday because you got a pissed off Rated R superstar. You got a pissed off Glamazon. They storm to the ring, beat up the security, throw him in the ring, in the steel steps, spear, DDT, everything. It basically just ends with Edge powerbombing a security guard through a table with all the cake and gifts, with Maurice and Miz screaming at him, and they stare off to end the show. It was a good show, really decent. I can't wait for the Rumble, and I hope they do big things with Theory soon. I forgot to mention they did do Bad Bunny. They promoted his tours that are coming up, which hopefully he comes back soon. That is all for now. There's a lot of good things happening. Stay tuned for the future on Raw. I'll be back at you with NXT recap tomorrow, maybe a positivity talk. Ta-ta for now. Like, subscribe, comment.